and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
And cut. I love that intro. Always gonna love that intro. But what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco. Got my guy Big Game James here, and it is another episode of the Best of Enemies podcast. So today we got a special one. Today we got a fun one. Washington Commanders. Now you guys have a new name, so we can say it. And you know I had to go get my brother George Carmi, so I'm excited to have you back on the show. George, how's it been, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. That's an excellent intro, by the way. Hilarious. I love the intro song coming in here, and and I'm absolutely happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me, Joe. You and I work together all the time, and pleasure to meet you, James. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. So, James, it's been a week. You know, I feel like these weeks don't go by quick enough, especially as a Brooklyn Nets fan. I've been getting my heart like torn out every other day. But how have you been, James? How's life been for you, brother?
Life's been good, but yesterday was kind of bad. You talk about your Nets getting beat up. My Dallas Mavericks really lost that last one. It really should be 3-1. I'm really hurting on the inside about this. That was a game that really slipped away, and I hope it doesn't change the series because of it, because those type of games can change a whole series. You know what I'm saying? And to lose it the way they did, Dwight Powell, I mean, got to make them free throws and then don't get the back end on the lob. I mean, it just was just like we had it, you know what I'm saying? So it slip. So I'm hurting in that aspect. And then, you know, we're getting ready for the Cowboys. It's all been in the media with this Deebo Samuel things. I think it's really been frustrating for me because it's kind of like Cowboy fans. It's in my head. It's like, do y'all understand who Stephen Jones is and how they operate now? It's almost like you don't understand how this front office operates. So if this man does not want to keep an Amari Cooper and keeps talking about the cap religiously all the time, what would make you think that Dallas Cowboys would trade Deebo Samuels as much as he covets those draft picks? He lets players walk just to get compensatory picks. You get what I'm saying? So he's in love with those picks. So we're really going to do that and get rid of a guy who had money that you didn't want to restructure and you still could have kept to get another guy who may not cost a lot this first year, but he's going to want money the second and third and fourth years, and you think they're going to pay that to him? Like, wake up. I don't understand, and that's the frustrating part about our fan base is like you don't understand how Stephen Jones operates by now. So why do you keep clamoring for these top-notch players to come over here when it's not going to happen?
Facts. Yeah, same could be said about the Eagles, man. The Eagles haven't made any move that would indicate we are trying to pay big money.
But at least y'all went out and got a Hassan Reddick. Dallas won't even do that. You get what I'm saying? They had the choice of possibly get a Bobby Wagner. He put his number out there. Dallas was instantly out. Stephen Jones said that years ago. We're going to put out a number, and if it goes above that number, we're out. So when you're looking at a free agent or the agent, they're already going to say, you know, Dallas ain't really going to pay a lot of money. What do you think the free agent is going to do? He's already going to be looking at the other teams because he knows he's going to get a better deal somewhere else.
Facts. It's been much of the same on our side, but I do want to get your thoughts on what's happening in Washington, because honestly, much alike the Giants last week, it's been kind of quiet. Like, I know there's been a lot of things happening, but it hasn't been a loud offseason, right? Like last year, you guys were going through the name change. There was so much going on, so much polarizing things around Washington. This year, I think you guys are kind of going under the radar. So how are you feeling about this offseason, George? And just what do you see the Washington Commanders trying to do?
It's interesting just talking to, or listening to both of you guys. It just seems like across the board, free agency slowed down quite a bit, right? Like going into the offseason, we had about $40 million on cap space. We were really excited. Like, what are we going to do? What big free agents are we going to add? If you guys recall, this is Ron Rivera's third year as the head coach of Washington. So in theory, this is the year we're taking a big step forward. But what ended up happening is, you know, we chased after Russell Wilson. We tried to get a big quarterback to come into our team, and we settled for Carson Wentz, which, you know, I'm sure you guys are familiar with in Philadelphia. We got him. We assumed his $28 million contract. That completely slowed down everything that we could do this offseason. So instead of going after some big fish, we had to kind of like, be strategic with how we spend our money. And we haven't really done much at all. Like our big free agent signing was Carson Wentz. We basically got him. We have a defensive end, like rotational defensive end edge guy, Ife Obata from Buffalo Bills. But honestly, those are the only two outside of our team free agent acquisitions that we had. Everyone else has been like re-signings and additions coming through. So we are kind of frustrated here in DC. We wish we had some more options. our big thing is that post June 1st, we're poised to cut Landon Collins. I don't know if you guys caught that yet. That's going to give us $12 million more in salary cap space. And I think the big picture view is with that $12 million, we're going to sign Terry McLaurin long term. That's going to be our big goal, like in middle of summer. Like we're projected, like all the beat reporters are like, hey, you know what? Right before training camp, like late July, expect a Terry McLaurin long-term deal. So I think we're more like preserving our team, using the draft as basically a building block for our team as well. And I'm sure you guys know, but there's also another wave of free agency coming out after the draft. And Ron Rivera kind of talked about that, like, free agent wave number 3, you kind of plug in all the holes you couldn't do during the draft. That's what we're going to be doing afterwards, looking for probably guard support, depth at guard, maybe a linebacker as well there. So it has been slow. I think Washington wants to trade back from 11. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. So that's kind of our big picture perspective.
Definitely. Washington's an interesting thing because we talked about the whole Carson Wentz situation, right? We talked about how right now he's with his best wide receiver that he's had in his career. And you can say the opposite is true for Terry McLaurin. This is probably the best quarterback that he's had this in his career. I know it's short for both of them, but either way, this is probably the best matching they've both had. So looking at, like you said, you're hoping that they can re-sign Terry McLaurin. What do you think? I mean, obviously we don't talk to the agents and everything. We don't probably know exact number, but how much do you think he'll be getting? Do you think that's going to be like a market setting number? Because you might screw the Eagles fans and the Cowboys fans over even a little bit more. We're sitting here talking about how we kind of got out priced on a lot of these guys. How big of a contract do you think that realistically is going to be?
It's going to be big. And I think Christian Kirk reset the market when he went down to the Jaguars. Like he isn't even a 1,000-yard receiver and he asked for this huge contract.
Right.
Exactly. So I think it was like maybe I don't know the numbers. I think it was like 3 years, $75 million, something pretty absurd like that.
Yeah,
so
I think he's getting close to like almost 18-something million dollars. I mean, this dude has not done anything to really speak of, just as you said, and that's just kind of crazy. Just saying that. Now a receiver like that sets the market. That's the bad thing about when these teams do that, because then it puts everybody else in that position to have to sign, and then these players see it and they're going to say, I got more yards than him. I'm better than him.
100%.
Go ahead and hit me with 25 million.
100%. And I'm sure you guys, we're all big football heads, obviously, right? So the big 2 controversial contracts this offseason, it was Christian Kirk, who also was Deshaun Watson. That wasn't really popular in quarterback circles as well across the NFL. Like huge contract, guaranteed contract, coming off of all that, sexual assault allegations. It's like, dude, he did all that and you're still getting paid like that. Imagine a clean cut, great quarterback is going to blow up 100%. So that changes everything. So going back to McLaurin, I projected him at around like 21.5. This is like per year. Now it's before all the Christian Kirk stuff even happened. So I do think he's going to probably get maybe 23, 24 million per year. And what's happening, I don't know if you guys follow that closely, but it's that Deebo Samuel, it's that DK Metcalf, it's that AJ Brown, it's that Terry McLaurin. They're all lumped together. And they all came in that 2019 class around the 3rd round, 2nd round draft picks. And they all kind of produce roughly about the same. So it's going to be a domino effect. Who is going to sign first and who's going to basically be the one that opens it up. And big picture, it's been a Washington fan my whole career, my whole life. Washington has a notorious way of basically undercutting people. And Carlos, I'll get there in a second. But basically, they have a notorious way of like kind of undercutting people, like Kirk Cousins and Trent Williams. They'll offer them below market value and try to negotiate up. That's insulting to some of the players. Like, man, I've been busting my butt for y'all. We're a pretty bad team, and you're undercutting me. I don't want to do that. So I think Washington does have to come correct with Terry McLaurin. Maybe give that little Ashburn tax is what I call, because when you're trying to get someone to play for Washington, you have to overpay them. They're not coming there willfully. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm looking at like 23, 24 million for McLaurin, and I do think a deal gets done. And sorry, I'm rambling. I'm going to answer the question below. Right. The reason why I'm confident is Terry McLaurin, like he is actually at training camp, right? Or he's at Ashburn right now. So they're doing like these I guess like they're more like it's off field work, but it's more like board work and more like weight training and things like that. he's doing all of that, but not necessarily going, taking the field and running routes and doing the field work because he doesn't want to get injured. And I think that's prudent. I think that's smart. Like, he's showing good faith by basically doing the board work, doing the smart stuff inside the room, and showing, I'm here, I want to negotiate, but he's not going to risk injury out on the field. So, like, that's a good sign. Like, I know some wide receivers aren't even going to the headquarters at all. I think Terry McLaurin wants to be here, and I think Washington wants him too. So I do think a deal's going to get done.
It's getting interesting. Washington.
It is.
You know what? I really loved hearing that because, I always be thinking like, because Dallas is the only team that deals with this. But when you just said about the undercutting of the contracts, I mean, it's just must be just management across the board, because that's the thing. We're always frustrated. That's why I call Stephen Jones Baby Nuts Jones, because number one, he never wants to jump out there and do anything in free agency. And you don't have to sign 5-10 free agency every year, but you can get one guy that can get you over the hump. And he's just like, he won't do it. He's gun shy because of a deal that he did with Brandon Carr that everybody kept crying about. Oh, he didn't really step up to that deal, and it was put in the papers a lot. So ever since then, it's been nothing but bargain dealing. And even when they're getting contracts, it's like, okay, we're going to draft. We're always going to build through the draft. We're going to sign our own, and we're going to get a few free agents here and there. And it's always going to be the third wave. Interesting what you said, George. It's always the third wave. Dallas waits for the third wave to see who else is left out there so they can just try to pick through the litter of it. But whenever they are signing their top players, it's always super undercutting value, and then these players are frustrated, insulted, and then like Jerry has to jump in, and then they have to start talking and they talk bad about them in the media. So it's like, before they sign these players, they keep on, oh, we can't really pay you because we have to pay all these, and they're in the media saying these things and showing the warts of the players before they even sign them. When DeMarcus Lawrence fought for his money, Stephen Jones said, you're not good as Khalil Mack. I mean, you're telling the player that he starts out with a low ball offer of $10 million at the time. So you see what I'm saying? It's interesting to hear from your perspective, because that's what Dallas deals with, and that's what they're going to be dealing with in the near future.
And that's why I love coming on podcasts, man. You get to hear different perspectives from different fans, right? So that's definitely how we are here. We did the Brennan Sheriff. Like, we're the one thing that's opposite of Washington is we do a lot of lip service here, though. Where it's like, oh, we love that player. That player is definitely coming back. And the quarterback and the player is always like, oh, I want to spend the rest of my career in DC. And like, no, you don't. Like, you clearly do not want to be here, and it's not going to happen. That's what happens around us. And we the fans know, the media knows, but it's all a game of like, chitter chat, and they ended up walking, and and it ends up being ultimately the negotiations didn't work. That's all around here.
And I do want to ask, I would like put my input on that situation, but all I'm going to say is like, Jinx, you owe me. So like, it's literally the exact same thing I'm going to say, because that's the same thing that the Eagles do. We don't know how to pay people what they're worth, apparently, unless they're like, Derek Barnett or someone that shouldn't really be on the scene. But that's a conversation for a whole nother time. But I do want to ask you, before we get into this, into the draft talk and the mock draft itself, there's no easy way of saying, there's no real way of walking on eggshells around this. Obviously, Washington is in the headlines with the whole, scandal about the tickets and everything. Where does that stand right now? Like, I haven't really heard much about it, and obviously being in Tampa and an Eagles fan, it doesn't really come to me. So where is the standings with that? Are you guys good? Is this finally what you guys wanted? Because I know you guys want your owner out of here, so.
We do want our owner out of here, and I'm pretty loud about that. I should probably be more professional in regard to that, but I do want our owner to change. I think it'd be a fresh perspective. Like, ideally, for me, if he left before this whole name change, before we get our new stadium locked down and things like that, that'd be the ideal situation, so we could actually have a clean start without his fingerprints on it. But in regard to like the actual process, Joe, it's going to take forever. It's a legal process. Like, I'm dialed in on all this stuff, and from what I understand, like, if even like we're doing the paperwork and we're doing the investigations, it's a 6 to 9 month process in regard to even like having like credible evidence to flex on Dan Snyder to even go to court. And the most recently last week, I believe it might be James Friedman or Freeman, whatever, the guy that brought the allegations to Congress. Basically, he's been working for 24 years there and talked about all these different proprieties and things that were going on. this week he just got obliterated by like Dan Snyder's legal team. It's like every single thing that he ever did wrong is basically like put out in the email. Like, he was cussing, racial slurs, like sexual harassment for girls, like ladies in the building and stuff. Like, like Snyder. That's the thing about Snyder. Like, I've actually worked with some pretty good media people as well. They're like, be careful for what you say because he loves litigation. He'll destroy you. Like that's why people are afraid to speak up against him because you're going against a billionaire. His lawyers will always trump yours. So you got to come correct if you're coming at him. So.
And you better not have did nothing ever in your entire life because they go
Boy Scout. Exactly. 100%. Yeah, exactly. It's coming out, man.
Yeah. It's coming out. So be sure because you're going to be in the media and some stuff that you had bones that you had in that closet, they coming.
What's that quote? Like, best not come at the king. What is it? Like, you don't come at the king if you can't miss. What's that? You know what I'm trying to say? I forget that quote right now, but something along that. If you're going at the king, you got to come correct, man. He'll get you.
Yeah,
so
that's facts. Yeah, especially everybody has dirt. Everybody has
everybody.
When you're making a statement like that Friedman or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you make an allegation like that, like you say, you better be prepared. You better be prepared. You better look at your wife in the eye.
That's nothing. That's nothing lightly that you just throw out there about somebody or an organization. You just don't throw that stuff out there. And then, hey, I would just be like Dan Snyder too. I'll be like, what? Oh yeah, what? All that stuff you? Oh yeah, okay, all right. It'll be out there first thing in the morning.
They came at him dirty. They were like, they were saying he was dating some girls and sending pictures, nudies back and forth on the email. All that dirt came out. I mean, they went at him real hard. And like they're trying to destroy his credibility so he doesn't look good in court. I mean, it's going to get real dirty real fast, and it's how it is, man. It's crazy.
All right. So a question I want to ask to both of you guys, honestly, is just NFC East in general. The NFC East, obviously, the past couple years. Hasn't been the strongest. It hasn't been what we were used to, especially in the early 2000s. Just always, 2 or 3 teams were fighting for the division. But do you think that that's going to change anytime soon? Do you think that there's a turnaround coming for the NFC East, or do you think it might be getting worse?
Can we go, James? Go ahead. You go first.
Man, I don't know. I'm right now. I guess I'm in the in between because. When I look at it, I mean, Cowboys have talent. I feel like the Eagles have some talent. And I feel like the Washington, even though people were like saying stuff about Carson Wentz, I feel like it's one of the better quarterbacks they've had in a while. If they really can nail this draft, you had mentioned it, George. I had mentioned it yesterday on my show that they probably should trade back to try to gather some picks this year so they can, build up. But once again, I just really feel like the coaching just has to really step up. I think that's the thing that's really holding down the NFC East just for me. I mean, even Washington, Ron Rivera, they won the division in 2020, but it was 7-9. I mean, last year it was 7-game win. Dallas disappointed in the playoffs. Yes, the Eagles got in, but they kind of got, nobody really thought they were going to, you know what I'm saying? Washington, Joe Judge is just kind of being So I really feel like once the coaching kind of really gets, stepping up right there, I feel like the talent is always going to be in the East, but I feel like better coaching just from my perspective.
I think we have to bounce back, right? In my perspective, I think all the teams are going to get better. I think the Cowboys, and none of them knocking on you guys, James. It's like, to be honest whatever. I think you might take a little bit of a step back. I don't think you're going to be. We were at 12-5 last year. Yeah, okay. I think you guys are take a little bit of a step back. I think you guys are still a very talented team. But in regard to like the salary cap dynamic and having Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and everyone, Randy Gregory all stacked last year was your best shot for a couple of years. I don't know if you agree to that or not, but I think you guys will still be very talented. You guys are going to be in double digits, but I think that was the window. So hopefully you guys can kind of bounce back from that. Philly's on the rise. I think you guys are definitely stacking up the whole capital with the draft picks. That's awesome. Like, I'm jealous of you guys. We actually only have 6 picks coming into this draft. We lost a 3rd and a 5th round pick, so we kind of are at a deficit. But you guys, if you draft correctly, you guys are going to be built up pretty well. And I think Jalen Hurts is a good, solid quarterback. I'm not sure if he's a championship quarterback. We'll see how that goes the next couple of years, but he's looking pretty good. I think Washington with Rivera, he's building a foundation, and we were 7-9, 7-10. I think we're going to take a step forward this year, and I'm not going to say we're going to be world beaters or anything, but we had the hardest schedule in the league last year because we had the first place division schedule. We had to play like the Chiefs, and we had to play the Bucks, and we had to play the Bills, and we had a tough schedule last year. I think ours is one of the worst now, and I think we do finally have a quarterback. We have been Ron Rivera for 3 years. First year was a broken-legged Alex Smith quarterback with Dwayne Haskins and Case Keenum, I believe, were the three that we had in 2019 or 2020. Last year we had Taylor Heineke. We were supposed to have Fitzpatrick. He was out for we didn't even play a full game out the first game. We played Heineke the rest of the year. He was admirable, but like he lacked physical tools. He couldn't throw the ball downfield. Like Diami Brown, we'll talk about him in the draft. He was a 20-yard per catch wide receiver at North Carolina. He was Sam Howell's number one. We drafted him to be a big play wide receiver, and Taylor Heineke doesn't have that arm. So we never had that skill set fully utilized, and Curtis Samuel was out all year. So I do think if we draft pretty well, I can see Washington being maybe honestly, I think maybe around a 10-win team, 9-10-win team, and Philadelphia's going to probably be around there, and Cowboys are going to be around there too. So I think we're going to have more of a solid division. The Giants are the one with the biggest deficit, but they're making a Bill South down there, man. They got Shane Augusta is a GM from the Buffalo Bills coming down, and they got their new Dabble, I guess. Yeah, Dabble. He's supposed to be a quarterback guru. It's supposed to be
coordinator too.
What's that?
Yeah,
They got Wink Martindale as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, from the Ravens. And dude, I'm in Maryland, so I see that firsthand. And basically, like they're going to start building up too. I think the Cowboys are further along. I think Eagles and Commanders are kind of neck and neck, and then it's like the Giants are growing. So I do think we'll get better. And it's good for the league if the Philly, Dallas, New York, DC, the biggest markets, if they actually are successful, then it makes the whole league better. So I'm all for it.
Definitely, yeah. I think that we're all in position. We have the games in front of us, right? Like we have everything in front of us. If we do I think it was Drew Johnson that said it. You got the key is drafting correctly, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles. We have all those picks, but we don't have the best of history. You could say the same thing about the New York Giants. The New York Giants have some good draft picks this year that if they utilize them correctly, who knows what can happen. Maybe Daniel Jones is that guy. I don't think he is. Maybe Jalen Hurts is that guy. I don't think he is, but we'll see what happens with the NFC East. I personally think it's probably gotten a little bit worse, like immediately, but it might be better long term, right? It might be we kind of all took a hit this year to kind of figure out our cap situations or figure out what players we want to kind of move forward with, and then you build your core from there. Because I've said this on numerous occasions, different podcasts, on my Twitter a million times. It's hard for me as an Eagles fan to name more than maybe 4, maybe 5 at the very, very most players that I see on this team right now still with the Philadelphia Eagles in 3 or 4 years. So I don't know who this team is going to be in a couple years, but we just got to draft correctly. We have to draft.
I'll tell you what, just listen to what George was speaking about. I honestly, I was 100% agreeing with you. Number one, excuse me, what I was agreeing with is funny because that's why I was glad you came on, because I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit. I feel like, all right, I knew a little bit about Washington because I'm listening to George, and I was saying those things yesterday, and I never heard him talk, never heard him speak, so it makes me feel a little bit good. So I know a little bit about the opponent that they play against. But I said it on my show yesterday that I felt like since they had 2 7-win seasons, I felt like with Carson Wentz they would get 9 wins. I said he would get them at least 2 more wins. I didn't go the 10-win route, but I definitely felt like they would get 9 wins due to Carson Wentz. I felt like this was their best opportunity in a while with Carson Wentz. People say what they want about Carson Wentz, but he threw 27 touchdowns, had 7 interceptions, completed over 62% of his passes. We know he faltered a little bit, but he also is coming back into the East where he's familiar, and he has, if they get that talent around him, I think they have 2 pretty decent bookends on the tackle position. They want to get the middle sold up, but I feel like, the Eagles will be fighting with them because I still think they're trying to figure out the Jalen Hurts thing.
I agree.
I feel like the Eagles got a lot of talent, and I feel like that is building up rather quickly, especially with this talent, with the draft that they have this year, with the picks. If they really hit on these picks, Eagles can really be a threat. But I think the Jalen Hurts thing is they need to really figure that out, and I think that's what's probably kind of holding y'all in that middle between the Washington and the you guys fighting in that middle. And then when just what you said with the Giants, if the Giants, when we had Ruben on it, I thought he picked really good in his draft. If they have that type of draft, they went for 4 wins. I said they'll go 2 more wins, but they can come up quickly in that draft, man, because they got some good picks in good areas that they can come back real quickly. And I feel like Dallas, I feel like we're one of the most talented teams in the division, but really it's our coaching now in our front office, man. It's really there's a lot of things that have been going on behind the scenes. I said it could be a lame duck coach season for Mike McCarthy because if he doesn't get to a championship game minimum, he's not going to be here. And then you already hear about Sean Payton sitting out there for a year in the booth.
That'll be bad for us, man.
His name has been loudly talked out here because he's been here. And I feel like that will be the last person for the excuse for Jerry Jones and them. And he's already been in the media talking about how much he loves Sean Payton. So you feel what I'm saying? It feels like a weird season because you lost capital. You didn't really replace it. You're hoping on this draft, and Mike McCarthy has the pressure of if he don't win, it's over. So, it's just kind of a weird season that we're kind of going into, but I think the talent is still there to win at least 11 games.
Yeah, I will say the Eagles, just the way we're built right now, it doesn't give me, as Eagles fans, I'm sure there's a lot of confidence, as far as they go. I just don't have confidence that any of these people are like here for the long term. Nick Sirianni feels like a guy that once his contract is up, his contract's up. I just feel like the Eagles are right now in a position that they're just building. They don't necessarily have a commitment to anybody on this team. They're just building and kind of seeing what happens. But it is what it is. I hope it goes well, and I'm trying to stay positive, but I don't know. The closer I get to the draft, the more nervous I get we're going to ruin these draft picks, especially the more and more that I do these drafts. The more and more that we do these drafts and I see the players we can have, I know I'm going to be disappointed, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
In DC, go. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I was just saying, in DC, I'm confident in the building of our team, but I'm like, dude, you're taking forever. You're building meat potatoes, like offensive linemen and defensive linemen. You're just building, eventually go for it. Just go for it. We have a foundation and control, but just go for it. I don't know. I want some skill position players, and we'll see where we're gonna draft them right now. So let's get after it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So this is the part that everybody waits for. This is like the most fun part. I think the most fun part for James is when I sent him the graphic after, and he could tell everybody he had the best draft. But
yes,
we gonna get into it. So for those that don't watch, normally or whatever, we do a 7-round mock draft. Obviously, we're gonna have George pick for the Washington Commanders. I'm gonna obviously pick for the Eagles. James for the Cowboys. And let's get into it. We're using Pro Football.
And this is our final one.
This is the final one. I didn't even think of that. Damn, that's
this
true.
is our final one. And they coming. See, here it is already, George.
Oh, damn. Already with a trade?
They do this over here.
Okay.
Offers.
Wow. Okay. Let me take a look. It's a lot of picks. Hold on one second. Go back a second. I didn't see that coming at all. So 21, 54, 85. Go to the other one real quick.
Yes, sir.
What's it? The Falcons 43, 58, 74, 82. And wow, that Falcons deal is fantastic, but I can't not have a first round of this term. I have to go deep with that. So go back over here. I'll take that out.
Can I ask you a question though? I don't know if this works in here, but as an Eagles fan, this is a realistic scenario, and I'm glad that this came up. Derek Stingley's on that board. I've said numerous times, if we want Derek Stingley as the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to have to jump Minnesota. Would you be willing to maybe move to 15 or 18?
Oh, 100%. So this is actually a good talking point right here, right? So walking here with pick 11, Washington wants to have a pretty impactful selection, obviously, right? The hope is that basically a quarterback or two is taken in that top 10 and knocks down a big talent to us at 11. Ideally, the big talk around DC is we want Kyle Hamilton at that 11th overall selection. If he falls to 11, we take him off the board because we haven't had a free safety since Sean Taylor, to tell you the truth. I think wide receiver is definitely up there. Like the talk in DC is Garrett Wilson, Drake London. Ron Rivera loves Chris Olave. We keep talking about him and hearing about him over and over again. So that would be interesting. But then also
Buckeye receiver.
Exactly. We already have Samuel and McLaurin too. Be Buckeye wide receiver South down there. So we got that. And then what was I going to say? Yeah, so we basically were, and then Derek Stingley, like if he's there, the big argument all day long is should we take a cornerback or wide receiver at 11? Should we take Stingley or should we take basically a wide receiver? And the talk everyone says take the CB because it's a deep wide receiver class. That's what we're going for. So let's see. Yeah, throw me an offer, Joe. Let's see what's going on over here.
Like realistically, let's see where I did it. All right,
okay,
so look,
cool.
Realistically, if the Eagles were to offer you the number 1583 and one of my thirds, so maybe 162.
I would so 1580, 100%, no question. And then what?
83 and 162 for
his
first.
For my 11th overall pick? I'll definitely take that.
Ooh.
All right, I got to think. Hold on.
Who do you want?
Where the chat at? I want Stingley right now.
Oh, go ahead and take him. You can have him. I don't want him.
Are people gonna roast me for this? I don't. Really
hey, shout out to my cousin, man. He just signed with LSU, baby. Just signed with LSU.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Check him out, number 21. He'll be out there next year on that campus. Is DBU right now, so hopefully we might be talking about my cousin in about a couple of years. 6'2", 190-pound cornerback / safety, and he has the wheels. He's running a 4.4 sub 4.4. Make sure you check him out, man. He'll be playing on them Saturdays.
Yeah, he'll be playing for the Eagles.
No, we don't want that. I'm already told him, dog. We already been in serious prayer about that.
So really, all right. I do want to make this trade, but now I do feel like I turn my 83 into 1.
I mean, the appeal to me is a third round pick because we don't have a third round pick. That's why I like that right there. Yeah, so that's kind of why I'm in for it. So I mean, if you want to, we can. I mean, we can flip. We can flip that 162, 189, or something like that. We can do that or something if you want. But I don't know.
I'll do that. Move it back. I'll do that. I'll move it back.
Okay.
All right. So you want to do 11 and 189 for 1583 and 162.
I'll take that.
All right. Say less. Nice doing business with you.
Sounds good.
I got
you can't override it.
I thought I could. That just made me so excited, man. I probably have to do it from your side because it's how they making decisions for you. I don't like that. That's not cool.
Because they like heck to the no.
Yeah, they was like, this ain't fair. So he did that.
Yeah, 189. He gave you 1583 and 162. Yeah.
Wow, they just said no.
You can't override that.
I guess not. That's grimy. Yeah, at least we had that talking point. That was a good talk.
That was a good talking
point. That was a good talk. I like how y'all was jumping there trying to get in the last time we do this draft and y'all was in there wheeling and dealing. I like it.
Nah, I like it. It's good. I'll take this deal. I'll take so the Falcons deal. Actually, I'll be straight up with you. I'm like the Falcons deal is better, but I want this deal because I don't want to lose a first round pick. We need first round talent, so I'll take this deal right here.
I respect that. Damn, and they went up to get Derek Stingley.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. That's interesting.
So Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson off the board. Eagles up.
Sauce Gardner's still out there.
I can't believe Sauce Gardner's on there.
Really?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's gone?
No, he's not. Yeah, he went. Where'd he go? He went 3.
Yeah, he's gonna go top 5. I think the floor for him is the Giants at 7. I think he's going up there.
Now let me look at these 15. I personally, I want I'm definitely not doing that. Personally, I want the Eagles to stay at number 15. I'd rather move back from number 18 if their quarterback Kenny Pickett's still there or Matt Corral, because I'm pretty sure that's who they want. See, I'm torn because I know the Eagles would probably do Jameson Williams if this is how it felt.
Oh,
that's probably
there's some good talent on the board. I'll be honest with you.
There is. I want a cornerback, because there's no good lineman really left.
Where did Hamilton go in the draft? Where did Hamilton know he went up top 10?
He went 4. Number 4.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker went number 7. Aiden Hutchinson went number 10. They would probably love that.
Yeah.
What do I want to do here? Let me see who we got on the board real quick before I make a decision. Devin Lloyd. Damn, all the edge guys.
Ooh,
all the top edge guys.
I already know who I'm in my head.
All right, yeah, I got to go Jameson Williams. It just makes sense right here, to be honest. I would love for them to go Devin Lloyd,
sick, bro.
or Andrew
Get a Love.
I don't even want him, bro. I don't want to say I don't want him.
Leave him
I don't want to
alone.
say I don't want him, but I know what the Eagles would do. The Eagles would definitely do that.
Because
Just because of the way the
he's gonna be a beast.
Yeah, he is gonna be a beast. He is gonna be a beast. I just don't think wide receiver is that important right now for us. See, I would do something like this. I would definitely do something like this.
Yeah,
that's a good pick. That's a good trade.
The guys I want will probably still be there. There's a couple guys I would.
They're gonna take my boy Olave right here, and Olave to the Packers. If he goes there, he's gonna eat.
He's going there.
There
you go. He went to the Saints.
There you go, with the Saints. All right, so I'm gonna have to pick here. So let's hit reject here. Let's take a look at what we got. So I got Drake London there sitting at 24. That's ridiculous.
Y'all want him.
Let's take a look. We actually are interested in him. Go down a little bit. Let's see what else we got.
Y'all like Devin Lloyd too?
We do, but he kind of like he's not high on our priority. Like I think we like him, but he's not like a glaring need for us. Let's go down a tiny bit. So we have that. Like I'd be looking at like wide receiver and safety is what I'd be looking at. So can we look at positions here or cornerback? Yeah. So wide receivers.
This is wide receivers. Right
all right, Drake London. I'm probably gonna go him. Let's take. Is there any safe? Let's look at safeties. Daxton Hill. I like Daxton Hill too. And then we got
Juan Brisker, Jalen Petrie,
cornerback. All right, I'm gonna take wide receiver. There's a lot of good secondary players. So what I'm gonna do, I'll go wide receiver. I'll take Drake London. That's what we'll take.
That's a good pick. That's a good secondary receiver.
Yep.
Would I trade back again?
Oh my gosh.
Nah, I'm good.
I just want to give up the farm.
For real, they wildin'. All right. So here, I guess I could have waited on wide receiver, but I think I got the best one in the draft. Like if he wasn't hurt, I think he would have probably went.
Yeah, Wilson's a beast. Williams is a beast. I was hoping he'd fall to 21 or Olave would fall to 21, but it's all good.
I am torn between the top 4 guys, top 5 guys even. I would not be if this is what makes me nervous, guys. This is what makes me nervous about Howie Roseman, that we'll be in a position like this and he'll pick JT Woods. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what makes me nervous about him.
Yeah.
But I would love to get Daxton Hill on this squad, especially if we're not getting Tyrann Mathieu. And there's some sources out there saying that that's what we're waiting on, is to see if we can get a Kyle Hamilton or
100%
safety.
All of us.
I don't know how true that is. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but so I don't know if that means they would go safety first round, and they haven't shown that they've done that before much. But Daxton Hill, I think, is very, very.
He's a beast.
I think Daxton Hill is very good. I think he's very close to Kyle Hamilton. I think if he was 2 inches taller, he'd be talked about just like Kyle Hamilton, to be honest, because he's fast as hell. I got to go Daxton Hill. And Eagles fans probably going to roast me for this. Yeah, I got to go Daxton Hill, man. I got to.
I was hoping he'd fall to the second round, but there's no way. I mean, there's no way he was going to first round. I was hoping he would.
Yeah, he's a beast. So the Cowboys have 3 trade offers. No, not too bad. The Cowboys and the Giants doing business.
I'm not doing that, Trey. I'm looking at that KC one though. And I
that one's kind of
go to that KC. Yeah, I like that. And see, here's the thing, because I'm in a situation right now because I have Nakobe Dean available, Kenyon Green available, and Treylon Burks available. So that's a very hard decision for me. You understand? Because they all 3. Nakobe Dean hasn't been there, but I like him. Kenyon Green and them, they both like. But I'm going to take the trade because they're going to make this easier for me to pick a player I want. So I'm going to go ahead and take that trade and gain that pick. So do the KC one.
Kansas City got you.
I'm going to move up. See? Now. Go with Nakobe Dean. See how they made it easy for me, dog?
Yeah, I respect that.
That's a dream, man. To still get the player you want. Exactly,
so, 100%. Because here's my thing. Treylon Burks, I wanted Jameson Williams. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still I like Burks, but he's boomer bust. And then Kenyon Green, I love everything about him, but then they've been questioning his nastiness. But Nakobe Dean, I feel like that's the middle linebacker that we need to let Micah Parsons stay free. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. So I won't do that trade. Actually, that's interesting, but I probably won't do that trade. Go to the next one real quick. Off me second round picks are pretty nice, though. I'm not gonna lie.
You would think that next year's draft is trash or something. Like, is the next?
Yeah, they're throwing around pretty easy.
Right.
Can I look at the available players before an accepted offer? How does that work?
Yeah,
I can do that, right? Let's take a look. Let me just go down. So Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker are awesome. Washington's definitely in the market for adding a running back. I don't think I think you can get running back later, maybe with my second pick that I picked up with you guys. Chad Muma is definitely interesting. Trey McBride's interesting. Troy Anderson's interesting. So there's Alec Pierce and George Pickens. Maybe I should have waited on a wide receiver. Jalen Petrie. So we got options, man. So go up a little bit. When's my next pick? I got 51. Is that what happened? Or where can we look at that? I know we did that trade. 54. Okay, good. Yeah, so that's nice. Okay, let's go back.
Why do I think y'all gonna draft a Troy Anderson in real life though?
We might. I mean, that's the talk. We need a versatile position there. You know what I think we might do? I might get roasted on Washington Twitter for this. I'm gonna take BPA, David Ojabo, man. He got that Achilles injury. He basically he doesn't need to come back day one. We have Montez Sweat and we have Chase Young, and then we don't have a depth at the edge position. So I'll take him and add that up.
I like that pick. I mean,
smart route to go. I think that's a smart route to go because you're going to have contracts coming up soon.
100%.
And that's 100%. when you draft these players, you have to look at, okay, what year is this guy in that might be ahead of him, and is he going to cost too much money? And so if you are, I got a young rookie behind you that I think can take your place possibly if we can't sign you, and he's going to be cheaper. You got to think like that when you're drafting these players.
I agree.
I love how people are saying, why would you take wide receiver when your quarterback can't throw? Hey, it is what it is.
I feel you. I've been there. Yes, I feel you guys.
When I say nice things about Jalen Hurts, I get roasted. When I don't say nice things about Jalen Hurts, I get roasted.
That's how Heineke was all last year. Like, there's Heineke Hive, and there's the people that are haters. Heineke haters. That's what it was last year.
It's great. Jalen Hurts' mom, I don't know if it's really her or somebody just pretends to be Jalen Hurts' mom on social media, but she has like roasted me in a couple of my videos. Jalen Hurts, like, legitimately. So it's hilarious. But I'm a little bit upset right here. I want to say this before I do get into my pick. Travis Jones is somebody I would love to get on the Philadelphia Eagles.
New Orleans been picking some good players right here.
Yeah, New Orleans look like they doing good. Who they got so far? They got Kenny Pickett, Chris Olave, and Travis Jones.
That ain't too bad right there.
That's a nice little start. So my eye automatically goes to Christian Harris and Chad Muma. I would love to get a linebacker in this round. Let me see who we got at cornerback. It's probably too early to go where I want to go there. I know a lot of people love Leo Chanel. I like Brian Ostima. I like a lot of these cornerbacks. I mean, these linebackers. I might not even have to go linebacker, honestly. This gets interesting now because I'm thinking I'm either between Drake Jackson, Myjai Sanders, or Kingsley, but I can get one of them on the comeback. I mean, I basically got two back-to-back picks right now. What do I want to do? I think I'm going to go Chad Muma.
Muma's a good pick. I think
I'm going to go Chad Muma. Oh, George Pickens to them. That's a good pick for them. I'm not taking no trades. Yeah, I'm not taking no trades. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna make this easy for myself. I'm gonna take Myjai. I like Myjai Sanders a little bit. I think maybe Kingsley. Damn, I like Drake Jackson, but I like these two better. So I'm gonna go Kingsley. I think Kingsley could be a day one starter for us, and we need somebody on the outside. So make that easy for myself. Washington, they want you guys to trade so bad.
Yeah, they love having me trade. Damn, who's the charge one? Can you offer me second round picks? God damn, okay. Let me see the pool real quick. So 54 to 57. Let me take a look at that. So let's see who I'm processing. Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker would definitely be interested in Washington. Desmond Ridder, even. Washington likes Ridder. They really do. But we all know how sensitive Carson Wentz is. If we get him, he's going to be upset about that. It's not going to be a good look. I don't know about all that. Trey McBride's a good selection here. Troy Anderson. Go down a little bit more. Let me see who else we got. Jalen Petrie. Okay. You know what? I will trade with the Bills. I'll trade with the Bills. Move back 3. There's enough. There's enough opportunities for me to stack up some picks.
All right, the
All
Cowboys
right.
got some offers.
No. I probably would in real life, but I'm not doing that right now.
Go all the way back to 89.
No, I'm not doing that because I need some players right now.
I respect.
All right. Go to linebacker, not linebacker. Defensive end. I'm taking Bonito right here.
I already saw it. You saw
Good pick.
I was hovering right over it.
You already know. You already know.
I like Nick Bonito. I like Nick Bonito. Washington back on the board.
I reject, man. Buffalo really wants to trade with me. I thought Buffalo was mad at me because of JD McKissick. I don't know if you guys heard that whole story. Yeah, they're mad at me. I don't know why they're trading right now, but we'll be good. Go to hit close for a second. Like, let me see my picks. I know I'm trading, so my numbers are all kind of off. Like, where does Washington have 57, 85, 113? Okay, we're stacking them up. This is nice. I can probably still get a running back in round 3, so I'm going to hold off for a second. So Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker, they're appealing, man, but I don't know if I want to go that route. Trey McBride, solid for us. Troy Anderson would be good. Jalen Petrie would be good as well. I think, honestly, like what Washington would do here is we're looking for like a Nick Cross is there too. We're looking for like a – go to safety for a second. Jalen Petrie is definitely the best probably, right? Yeah, and then Nick Cross. And then go to linebacker. It'll be Troy Anderson be number 1 probably.
I think Christian Harris is still there.
Christian Anderson. And then go to cornerback real quick. All right. And then finally go to like Kobe Bryant right there. And then maybe go to guard if you don't mind. That's another position that Washington's looking at. All right. I don't know if I'm in love with any of them. So go back to the big board if you don't mind, bro. Sorry about that.
Oh, you good.
What I'll probably do here, and this might seem like a little bit of a reach, but I know Washington wants like that Buffalo nickel position. I don't know if you guys hear that and you're like talking a lot with that big nickel. We need that. So I think we're going to go Jalen Petrie here. So we'll go.
I like Jalen Petrie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's slipped this far, to be honest. I know it's still in the second round. We just have so many picks. It feels like
stacking up picks over and over again.
All right, so the Cowboys have 2. These are good. That's a good offer.
That's a good pick. I'll do that one.
That's you want to see the players first before you make a decision?
Yeah. I already know.
7 spots.
Because I know who they're going to take. That's why I'm got to think about this. Because there's 2 players I want right here. All right. Let me look at it again.
That moving up 60 is what really that might come in handy down the road.
I know that's what I'm thinking, but they're gonna take the player I want. I know exactly the player that they're gonna take.
Right.
Yep. That's why I don't want to do it because
one of them is even
somebody's taking him. Somebody.
We were looking at Trey McBride too. He's definitely going next couple picks.
You feel me? And another player may go before that too. You feel me? So this is where I'm thinking, do I want to do this? Because just like you said, Joe, that 111 looks enticing.
You have to find like 5 players you feel comfortable with. If you feel comfortable with, then trade back. Because it's always better to have more picks.
So go to my receivers.
Sky Moore. It's pretty legit.
Oh, he's very legit.
Who else? Is
Jalen
Pierce?
Jalen Tolbert is real legit.
On Justin Ross, if he's healthy, I think he's going to be a beast.
Calvin Austin, and he's a little smaller.
Actually,
I got guys I can get
Calvin
him
Austin's trainer on. I just had Calvin Austin's trainer on the show.
He nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, he is good.
Go to Go to see, I can get some receivers later. Nah, I'm gonna stay here. I want McBride. Go ahead and I'm taking McBride right here.
Well, I thought Jelani Walker already went off. I was like, he went off before Trey. What? What I say? I know they like potential, but damn. All right, the Eagles back on the board. Let's go. Let's go. I kind of want to know what I know that my cousin's in here, so for you, here you go. This is what they've picked so far. Just to make you feel happy, just so you know what the Giants did. That's not terrible, I guess.
They took Sky Moore.
It's all right.
And I knew they were going to take Sky and Jalen Tolbert. They went just like that.
Eagles had a good draft. I'm jealous. I like Daxton Hill a lot.
I like this so far. Here's where I would love to get a cornerback, and I'm hoping, oh boy, that I want is still there. Yes, he is. So I'm going to go ahead. I know this is probably, it's not really a reach as far as the board goes, but I like Kobe Bryant a lot. I think that Kobe Bryant got kind of overshadowed by having possibly the best cornerback in college football on the opposite side of him. But didn't he win like an award for being the best cornerback like a year ago or something like that? Kobe Bryant is a dog.
He's a good player.
I like Kobe. Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he'll fit right in. Will he be a day one starter? Maybe not, but I think he'll add talent to the room and possibly be a day one starter. Who knows? Especially how bad our freaking cornerbacks have been. So I'll definitely take Kobe Bryant. And you got to keep Kobe in Philly. You know what I'm saying? He was an Eagles fan. Rest in peace. So keep him on in Philly.
I'll reject that offer if you don't mind. Sorry, bro.
He said that quick.
Yeah, let me look at the picks again one more time. Let me look at 80. I want to see how many picks I have. I'm trying to see like big picture. Okay. 85 and 113. Okay, cool. So I got some picks. All right, cool. All right, we can close if you don't mind, please. Let me look at the top players that we have over here. Oh, we have Leo Chanel sitting there. That's pretty nice, actually. All right. Go down a little more. Like, I'm gonna see what else we got. All right. No one really that intriguing down there. Go up to maybe look at guard, if you don't mind, because it's something important for us. Yeah, we're not really looking too good there. Go to corner. I guess we already looked at cornerback, but let me take one more look at that if you don't mind. All right. And then go to running back if you don't mind. Isaiah Spiller's pretty interesting. And James Cook, that's pretty interesting too. Shoot. Go back to the big board one more time, bro. All right, I'll probably take Leo Chanel, man. I'll probably take him at 85.
I respect that.
Oh, on big defensive board. I didn't realize I was going to go so defensive heavy this draft, but there you go.
I feel like that's how this board is. I feel like that's how this draft is. I feel like there's so many good defensive players.
I hate the Cardinals. I hate the Cardinals. That's who I was going to take, Nicholas Petit Frere. I seen him right there. I was going to take him. Like, I was like, yes, he's still there.
Nope. Well, at least you got some trade back offers if that's the route you want to take.
What's go to the other one.
Oh, my bad.
I wish they gave me another pick. Go back.
You could counter it.
Yeah, but nah. I'm kind of frustrated now. Go to they pissed me off. I wanted him so bad. Let me just see what the guards I have available right now.
Gotcha.
There's some guys I can get. Could I go 10 picks and still get these couple guys? And go to my tackles? Go to my receivers. Scroll down some.
Wan'Dale Robinson's a pretty good slot wide receiver.
Yeah, I got. Yep. See, I'm good. I got all my young fast guys I can get later. So let's go. I'm gonna take that one trade. Why trade this? I'm gonna take the Saints trade.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I was about to hit the wrong one. All right, you guys are right back on the board. You guys are. How many picks do you guys have now? Well, you guys got a lot too.
Okay. So let's go to my guard. I'm gonna take Marquise Hayes right here at the guard.
All right, now the Washington Commanders are up. Move back 8 picks.
And pick up another one. That sounds pretty good, actually. Let me look at my my draft board, if you don't mind, who I drafted so far. I think I got London, Ajabo, Petre, and Chanel. That was a good draft so far. So I got wide receiver, edge, safety, linebacker. So what Washington would want moving forward, we'd want a cornerback depth. We probably want some running back depth, guard, and we also want maybe even a dart throw a quarterback. So that's kind of interesting altogether. So let's go to all real quick. Bailey Zappi. There are definitely some running backs left. Go down a little bit more on the big board.
I think Bailey Zappi had like the highest Wonderlic score. Even I know that doesn't really mean anything, but he does. If that makes you feel better about him. I don't know.
Johnny Woods is there at tight end. It's pretty intriguing for us. Damian Pierce is another one too. There are some good players out there. Good. I do like Damian Pierce. Go to let me look at running backs. Let me see what the running backs we have out there. All right, I'm not too familiar with Jerome Ford, to be honest with you.
I like Jerome Ford. He's like a bruiser, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, Kyron White is pretty good. Damian Pierce. Okay.
You want to read it? He said game anywhere other than game-breaking speed.
All right, that's actually what we're looking for. We have Antonio Gibson, so we're kind of looking for more of like an in between the tackle kind of running back, because we're going to put Antonio Gibson and flex him out because he played wide receiver in college, so he actually has that like flexibility. Go to tight end real quick. I'm looking at tight end and guard. Jelani Woods, okay, that's intriguing. And then go to guard, if you don't mind. All right, I'm not even too familiar with these guards, to be honest with you, anymore. And then what was the trade offer? Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I know. Like Cade Mays is decent. Jeremy Saylor, somebody that a lot of Eagles fans been talking about. Dylan Parham is another guy that I feel like is kind of underrated. I know James said he liked Munford.
113 to 122. First of all, I'll take that draft. There's no one I'm in love with, so I'll always trade back if I'm not in love with them. So who cares? I'll take that.
And now the Cowboys are back on the board.
Okay, man.
The guy I want is still there.
Oh,
so I'm
gonna reject that. Go to D tackle. My guy's there. Where is he at? John Ridgeway. I want him.
Washington back up. Nobody wants to trade with
I know. I was surprised. I was waiting for the trade offer to go to offense to see if Jelani Wood is still available at tight end. I think he probably is. I'll take him right there. Cool.
Yeah,
so traded back, and I still got the guy I wanted. It's perfect.
That's good
cool.
pick.
I respect that.
Because I know Dallas wants him really bad. They've already interviewed him, but I don't want him as early as they're talking about. So the where you got him would be a perfect spot for him, especially with that speed.
I wouldn't mind the Eagles getting now we're getting into the project picks. Obviously, I mean you can argue that 83 is kind of where that started, but now I got a bunch of picks that I could just take players that I think can help this team.
Yeah, more like a dart, positional players now, and high upside players.
I'll be 100% honest. I wanted. Did he really go off? Did he go off? Are you serious? No, he didn't go off. Where's he at?
You can search for a player to type in the little bar right above the McCullum. You're looking on the right side.
Oh yeah, you can. Can you put in the college
last name?
No, he's just not here. That's Marcus Jones. He is here. I'm lying. I want to get Marcus Jones right now, but I could probably wait. I know people are seeing cornerback. He's like 5'9" or something like that. He's mad small.
He nice though.
But he is.
Nice.
He's really good.
He
man.
nice.
He's
nice.
really good.
That's why I was mad that you was doing. That's why I'm like, man, damn.
Not just him as a cornerback. Honestly, his special teams is what we would probably fall in love with. I don't think I'll get him at 154 if I'm being 100% honest. I'm going to have to do it. I know people might not like this pick. That's fine. I get it. But we're going to go Marcus Jones. At the very, very worst, he can be a special teams demon for us. And we have freaking Greg Ward returning punts. We can do way better. So I'll be cool with that.
These dudes are taking my picks like right before me. I wanted K. Mays right here.
I wanted Luke Fortner. I'm not gonna lie, but
Hassan Haskins is pretty good too.
yeah. Hassan Haskins is good.
Yeah.
All right. Eagles back on the board. I hate to do this. No. I might do that. I might do that. I might double up on edge. I haven't been getting JoJo Damon as much lately, so maybe I have to do that again, but I think I'm good for now. Tyreek, I think those are reaches now, but I honestly want to go Matt Ariza. I really I'm not gonna lie.
Play all three phases of the game, dude. Go for it.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I had I forget his Jeremy Green. I had this guy Jeremy Green on from ESPN Radio in Asheville, but he's like knows so much about the draft, and he sold me on Matt Ariza, just saying he's like one of those rare guys that puncher that you're like he's gonna be a 10-year starter because he's that good. Like he said he's that like impactful on the game.
Mm-hmm.
But do I want to be the guy that has to explain that to people when they read? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna look what we got at running back. Let me see what we got at running back. I might go Jaron early. Or Ely. I don't know why I said early. Jalen Whittemire, somebody I can wait for. This is actually tough. I really don't want to double up on wide receiver because we really don't have to. I think it just makes it is. I just think it makes sense right now. I love our former punter. Aaron Sippis is the man. Shout out to him. Thank you for coming on the show, brother. But yeah, we're gonna have to go with the best player that would fit what we need right now. He's gonna start right away for us. So sucks doing it, but I had to do it. Now you have this is a good trade offer.
I know it is. They are giving me the world. But I need to shore up some things like right now.
I respect that.
I'm gonna go ahead and take Chris Paul right here.
I respect that. That was one guy I was looking at as well.
Yeah, I had to get. They already took my guys.
Washington back on the board.
Can you click on my things to see my picks? All right, 159, 189. I got wide receiver, edge,
not a bad draft.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that so far. I'm meeting a lot of my I'm marrying needs and my draft position. So still on my needs to be cornerback and running back and guard. I see someone I want. I think I'm going to take Zamir White, the Georgia running back. I like him a lot, so I'm going to take him. He just but real quick, hold on. Go back to the all boards. I want to make sure I'm not reaching real quick. I don't see anyone I'm really in love with. I love the name Smoke Monday, by the way. So it's a great name. But I think I'm going to take Zamir White. I like that at 162.
I respect that. Yeah, that was another guy I was looking at as well as a running back position. Eagles could do for another running back. But I think we could probably get somebody in undrafted free agency if I'm being real. All right, this is kind of a no-brainer for me. I mean, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer. I could go a couple different ways here. I think D'Angelo Malone is a steal right now. Jaren Ely would be a good pick. JoJo would be a good pick. Obina Eze is somebody that I like, just a huge monster of a man that I think Stoutland would just mold into a great player. But I'm gonna go. I just had him. Where is he? D'Angelo Malone. I'm gonna go D'Angelo Malone, man. We're old on that defensive line, and we need talent. Oh, they want to give us the world now.
Every 7th round pick.
Yeah, they're like, you can pick every pick in the 7th round. Every player that comes. I should have waited on my punter. I could have got him.
See,
in
I
the
don't want them
7th
7-rounders because they ain't sticking with your team.
Exactly.
That's why they
all,
want to give them up.
I don't need that many projects. I don't know how they got that many project picks. You know, I could do worse than Cole Turner here. And, you know, even though the Eagles just moved J-Jaw to tight end, I'm praying to God he doesn't stick there and that he's off our team by the end of this year. So we could go tight end. Kroll is a local kid. Maybe they would like him. But I think this being our last draft, I want to go with somebody that I really think I'm going to throw a dart here and think that this is a guy that if they can get him towards the end of the draft, they will. And that's Obina Eze, just because he's very raw, but he's just huge. Like the guy's like 6'7" or something like that. Just a monster of a man. So I think that's somebody that will fit with our offensive line, and we can mold them into something really good. Now you got the Cowboys back on. I think I already know where you're going.
Okay, let me see.
You want to see your picks real quick?
Yeah, let me see. Oh, I got back-to-backs. Okay. Yep, let's go on the receiver. All right, scroll up. Oh, they took my guy. But I'm going to take Bo Melton right here. And then I'm going to come back with Velus Jones.
Ooh. Going back-to-back wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Velus Jones, is he the short one or the tall one? He's the shorter one. Tyquan Thornton's the one that's like 6'2", right?
Yeah.
All right, so the JoJo DeMond goes off the board. That hurts my heart. The Washington Commanders. It's going to take me a while to get used to that. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, even me, dude. I'm still getting used to it as well.
Too. I'll be saying it all the time.
I'll reject that. I already have too many picks. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. So hit reject right now. So we're good there. And then go to all. Let me take a look. Let's see. Go to quarterback. I want to see if there's any quarterback projects that we see around here. Brock Purdy.
AJ Perry, I've heard some really cool things about. He's supposedly really fun to watch.
Washington's been kind of linked to Jack Cohn a little bit right there, so maybe I'll wait like a pick and get him a little bit later. Go to my picks again. I want to see what my actual select, how many choices I have left. All right, so I have about 3 selections: 189, 203, 230. So let's do this. Let's hit close on that. What I'll do, go to the big board if you don't mind. I'm probably gonna get the best guard. Thayer Munford right there. Just kind of have him. I don't know much about him, but best guard of Ohio State. Can really hurt that.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah, that is a good pick. Now the Cowboys are coming back up.
All right.
There's some good players. There's 2 guys I'm looking at right now. At least.
I may get this part. Let me see. Let's go to safety.
Joey Blunt. I want him on our team now.
And let's go to corner.
Reed Blankenship. I didn't know he was that far down. I like Josh Joby, man. He's a project. Kalen Barnes too, but
see,
like
it's
both.
To me, it's between Kalen Barnes and Josh Pasquale from Kentucky, the DN.
Yeah.
It's between those two. I'm gonna go with Kalen Barnes just because they re-signed Dorrance Armstrong Jr. They have Dante Fowler. You have Nick Bonito in the room. We need to get a corner because you still have the iffiness with Kelvin Joseph, and I like Kalen Barnes' size, and he was the fastest guy at the combine at 4.3. So, and that's not something I'm going to be regretting at the end of the day. So I'll take him.
I respect that.
So Joe, go back to the big board again, or my big board again. I want to see how many picks I have left. I think 2 more picks, right? Yes. I got running back, guard, taking care of, tight end. All right, we're looking pretty good, man. So it's kind of like my world now. I pick whatever I want. So go back to the big board. So is that the top of the board right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Chase Lucas, Windermeyer. Windermeyer is actually pretty legit. Actually, I'm surprised he's still around. But I have Jelani Woods.
40. Because that 40.
The 40 brought him down.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a look. Go to cornerbacks real quick. So Chase Lucas and Joby. Let me take a look. I'll probably just take Chase Lucas, top corner on the board. That's what I'll do right there. I don't see anyone that really stands out to me that I'm too familiar with, to be honest with you there.
I respect that. Washington right back up on the. I don't think we have any more picks. Do the Eagles have any more picks?
Yeah, all kind of picks.
I'm gonna bring it on home with go to quarterback real quick, and I'll take a dart throw with that Jake Cohen if he's still around from Notre Dame. Yeah, take our Jack Cohen. Excuse me. Yep.
All right, the Eagles are taking a quarterback. No, let me not. I wouldn't be surprised though. Realistically, I really would not be surprised if the Eagles took a quarterback this year, like higher than like the 4th round. I would say like 3rd or 4th round. Would not be shocked.
Washington needs like a training camp arm because we have Heineke, but we don't have no one else other than that. So even though like Jack Cohen isn't going to be like projected starter, we just need someone to like develop as a backup at some point. That's why we drafted him there.
I personally would not mind getting another wide receiver, maybe a Jalen Naylor, like this late because I think this is my last pick. But really, there's nobody that like pops out at me, and I don't have a cool story for any of these guys, so I'm not going to reach on them.
Mm-hmm.
Tight end, I wouldn't mind getting Derek Dees. I knew he was going to be here. I would not mind getting Derek Dees. Nobody really in love with that running back. All right, so I'm between right now. I'm between Marquand McCall. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, and the Dylan Parham. That's really who I'm between because we do need
Dylan
somebody
Parham,
that can possibly.
I like him.
I like him a lot. I like them both. Marquand Manuel. I can't say his name. Marquand McCall. I think he fits what we want at defensive tackle. I think he's, not too big that he can't do. Like, we got Marlon Tialapatu last year in one of the rounds, and he was just like a space eater, and he saw no time because of it. So I don't think that's really what we want. And we do need another tackle. But I think I'm going to go Parham. I just know more about him. I feel more comfortable with that. So I'm going to go Parham. And there we go. That is the final mock draft, and I'm going to put like the Washington and the Giants one up all together so that we can kind of see a look at what the whole NFC East might be drafting. But we'll start with the Cowboys. How are you feeling about your draft, James?
Well, as we always do, I'm gonna go ahead and give the quick breakdown of our picks. So when we start out, we traded down. Like I said, at 24, we had a little worry. Was it going to be Traylon Burks? Was it going to be Kenyon Green? Was it going to be Nakobe Dean? I've been like Nakobe Dean, but the measurables with the Cowboys, they're like long, tall guys, and they don't want to kind of move away from that. But this is the type of guy that can come in and start for you right now. I really feel like he can be your middle linebacker. He's a very instinctual type linebacker, can come downhill, crazy athletic. And he can keep Micah Parsons free, and that's the biggest thing that I want. I want Micah Parsons to be able to roam, come down at the line of scrimmage, be able to rush the quarterback, be able to drop in coverage, be able to do your do-all linebacker, and get into Kobe Dean helps that. Our second pick, Nick Bonito, he's a guy that's a lot of people just recently started really pumping up. His pressures he's like one of the top pressure people coming out of college football. His athletic ability is ridiculous. He has a natural bend. He puts offensive tackles in very, very hard and tough situations about how he comes off the edge. He's a little undersized, but like I said, got guys that are already put in place right now, so he can just be your instant pass rush guy, and he can be your guy that you don't start, but he could be a guy get 8 sacks as a rookie. You know what I mean? So I really love that pick. Then on the trade, We got Trey McBride. I could have did another trade right here, but I've been liking Trey McBride. I didn't think we would get him. I didn't think he would be available. And he was just too good for me to pass up. They got Dalton Schultz, but to me, he's a regular tight end. Trey McBride is more dynamic, and him running that 4.5 really solidified it. I mean, he had over 90 catches, 1,100 yards in his last year. I seen him at the Senior Bowl. I was actually sitting next to his family and talking to them at the Senior Bowl, and he had a big, huge gathering. I think he's all about football, and I think that's a great pick. He can do a lot of things, and Dallas was really good in their offense at 12 personnel. So if you can get him and Dalton Schultz run that 12 personnel again, that would be nice. Marquise Hayes is a nasty offensive tackle / guard that you can slide in. I was just looking at some of his stats on him from Pro Football Focus, because I didn't see a lot of him. My guy kind of sold me on him, but he's only given up 35 pressures in 3 years as a college starter. That's what I really like seeing more than anything else. And Dallas needs help in that middle on the offensive line. Next pick, John Ridgeway. I was very happy with this pick because my guy is personally training him. Brandon Tucker, shout out to him. He's personally training this guy. They called him the Unicorn. He's like about 6'5", 330 pounds, and he's athletic like no other. I saw him at the Senior Bowl as well. I really like that size, and he's a 0-1 tech, and Dallas needs that. Chris Paul is a guy who's been coming up in the draft. A lot of people have been talking about him as of late, and I love the size, and Dallas needs somebody to compete at the guard and tackle positions. So these are two positions I like. Then we came back with Bo Melton. I'm mad Danny Gray was gone from SMU, but Bo Melton still has that wiggle. He has, 6 foot. Both of him and Velus Jones are both about 5'11", 6 foot, but both of them ran legit 4.3s, 4.4s. And Dallas needs speed. They haven't had a 4.4 guys in 20 years. So that's going to help. And they can both do return. And then Kalen Barnes, he's a good 6 foot, 6'1", but he was the fastest guy in the draft. You have that issues with Kelvin Joseph. He's up in the air. It is a last pick. So you have a lot of cornerbacks in the room that you want to see from that you drafted last year, but this is a guy that can probably compete in, in that cornerback room, and I like the speed that he adds.
Solid drive. Solid. Drive.
I give it a high C plus. I give it a high C plus because I didn't really get the receiver I wanted. Offensive line, I missed out on a couple people, and I wanted to get a higher graded receiver right here. So that's why I'm gonna go with a C plus. But I think my first top heavy part with Nakobe Dean, Nick Bonito, Trey McBride, and possibly Ridgeway could play right now.
I like it. I respect it. I respect it. I'll give you a B minus. I'm being
appreciate
nice
you. Appreciate you.
2 coffees. You know what I'm saying? So,
I appreciate you.
We'll go on to the best draft of this show. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna go. Look, I like this. I do not want to get. I'm gonna keep on saying this. I don't want to get wide receiver in the first round, but I also want the Eagles to not be stupid and get the best player at number 15. I think that it is imperative that we stay at number 15 and just take what God gives us. Take your best option and go with it. Jameson Williams, if he can start this year, I'm sure I think he's supposed to be running by like the actual draft and everything and training camp. He should be ready to go is what I'm hearing. I don't know what's going to happen, but if he can start this year, even better. If not, he can be somebody that you put to the side of Devontae Smith, and their contracts are, they're offsetting. So, you can pay Devontae Smith 1 year, then pay Jameson Williams the next, and not, go crazy over how much you're giving up. So I like the pick. He was the best player available. Best case scenario, I think this is what the Eagles do. The Eagles use that 18th pick, move back, and go ahead and get you either the best safety, best cornerback. If they want to take a linebacker, I just don't think that they would. But if they did, that would be awesome too. Again, you just take the best player. Daxton Hill, I said this before, I'll say it again. I think if he was 2 inches taller, people would be talking about him like Kyle Hamilton. He's fast, has very good, very, very good game speed. Can cover. Some of his highlights are just insane. You see him go from one side of the field all the way to the other for interceptions. He's just a real ball hawk. He has the ability to play cornerback if that's what you want to do with him. But I think he would be a day one starter at safety for us, and we're trash at safety right now. Chad Muma, there's like 2 or 3 guys you could have put there at linebacker and I would have been good. Obviously outside of the top 2 guys, so I like Chad Muma here. I think he's another guy that fills a hole right away. I think you throw him in the middle and he'll be able to do his thing. it gives you a little bit more flexibility, what you want to do with TJ Edwards, what you want to do with Davion Taylor. So I love Chad Muma. I think he'll be a great pick for us. Some people are probably going to say, why didn't you get Leo Chanel? And to those people, I say, because I didn't. And then number 53 is Kingsley Enagbare. I love this guy. I think that he might be a first-round pick, if I'm being honest. Somebody might, take a swing on him towards the end of the round. So I think that he's a good player, and I'm excited to have him on this team. We need edge players. Our defense is the most important part of this draft right now. If you can't tell, I went pretty defensive heavy. And then here, I didn't even realize I went back-to-back with cornerbacks. But I said why I took Marcus Jones, at 124. Just the special teams alone would make him a smart pick at that position. And not just that, I think he could be a starting cornerback in this league. We don't know what's really going to happen with Avonte Maddox. He could fill that hole up right away. He could be a slot guy right away, in my opinion. So Kobe Bryant could be a guy that can start on the outside for you. I think that he's kind of underrated. I think there's a lot of good cornerbacks that are ahead of him. But I'll be happy to get him, especially if this is how the board fell. And then Matt Ariza. I know some people probably won't love that pick. I personally don't love that pick, but you have to upgrade positions when you can. And just everything I've heard about Matt Ariza, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know how to scout punters and how to tell you, but I listen to smart people. Smart people keep telling me that this guy is the real deal, and he's definitely going to get picked in this draft. So I would love for the Eagles to get somebody that can just change the field. To go even deeper, you look at Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, when he had short fields, he did well. When our offense had short fields, we did well. And I think you can say that about a lot of offenses. So having somebody like him that's going to help you win that, field position battle, I think that it was a good pick. D'Angelo Malone, I think it's a steal. I think he falls more and more each draft, and I'm not really understanding why. So D'Angelo Malone, I won't say he's a day one starter, but he's a day one contributor. We saw Taron Jackson out there, playing very well towards the end of the year. I think something very similar as far as a timeline would happen with D'Angelo Malone. So I'm cool with that. Obina Eze, I told you he's like 7'10". No, he's like 6'7" or something like that, but big guy, athletic, just very, very raw at the position. And we have, I'll say this every draft show, we have the best offensive line coach in the NFL, in my opinion. So I would love to see what he can do with him. Same thing with Dylan Parham. I think that he's kind of more on the D'Angelo Malone side than the Obina. I can't say these guys' name. I think Dylan Parham is where he needs to be. Does he have some things he got to work on? Definitely. But I think that at 237, that's a steal. So I love that. I like my draft. I'll give it a
You
B.
like every one of your drafts.
I do, because I'm so
You
good
ain't
at
never
this
said
thing.
nothing wrong. I like my draft. I mean, I'm really feeling good about my draft. Every day I go show. I love my draft.
I will say I wouldn't, if it was me, I probably wouldn't have went Jameson Williams. I probably would have taken maybe Kyer Elam, maybe a Andrew Booth, because I think cornerback's more important. But I think this is what the Eagles will do. So in terms of that, I like it. If this is what they wanted to do, I'm cool with this. I think they'll probably go more offensive heavy, but I can hope not, right? A man can hope, a man can dream, but I like it. We'll see what people say.
Jamison Williams would be hard to pass up, because I told you I don't like how Dallas always is getting injured players, and that's what their MO is: get an injured players so you can sign them for the cheap, and they don't ask for a lot of money. Just the way they spent Michael Gallup, because as soon as Michael Gallup got hurt and it was in his contract year, they're like, "Oh yeah, we can sign him now because he got hurt." You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to deal with another guy with an ACL, but that dude to me is different. I don't know how he was a backup and had to transfer to Alabama at Ohio State. I know Garrett Wilson is good, and I know Chris Olave is good, but bro, Williams is explosive, dog.
100%. Am I out?
So now we got the Washington. Yeah, we got Washington. You had a good draft. How many picks did you come into?
He had a good draft.
I traded a lot. So it's funny, walking into the draft, I had six selections. Yeah, I had 6 selections. I had a deficit at round 3 and round 5. And basically my goal was to, obviously have the best player available at a position of need, right? So at selection 11, the Washington perspective is we want a wide receiver. We want a wide receiver, or we wanted a cornerback, or, if God forbids, if Kyle Hamilton falls to 11, that would be our ideal goal. Considering Hamilton, I think, went at 4, and so did Sauce Gardner. The Patriots wanted to trade up for Derek Stingley. I was willing to trade back. Like me personally, like I was like, you know what? I can get a wide receiver a little bit later in the first round, so let me take a step back. I was hoping Olave would fall down to 21, maybe even Jameson Williams, but basically Drake London falling to 21. I'm not mad at that at all. Like right now, he's projected as wide receiver 2 on most big boards. He's the biggest wide receiver at 6'4". He is a 50-50 catch wide receiver, possession type of guy that was force-fed at USC. And I think he's a good balance to what we have in DC. Like that's why I wasn't upset with it, because we have Curtis Samuels more of a gadget player, Terry McLaurin more of a route runner. Drake London gives us that big body wide receiver to kind of diversify our offense. So I'm pretty happy with getting him at 21. With that 21, with that 20 moving back, I got pick 57, so I'll get there in a moment. But having that extra leverage, that extra second round pick gave me some flexibility, right? So second round, I was looking at maybe a safety. I was looking more at like a linebacker is what I was looking for at 47. But the actual value of David Ojabo falling to 47 was it was no brainer to me. Prior to that Achilles injury, he was a projected top 15 pick, but I got him at 47. And Washington does have a deficit there. We have Montez Sweat, we have Chase Young. They're both, potentially elite edge rushers, but sometimes you need a blow. Sometimes there might be an injury. You need some support there. And right now, our edge rushers are Shaka Toney and James Smith-Williams. They're good like rotational players, but they're not necessarily like someone that could really blow it up. So getting a job at 47 it might not be a very sexy pick, but I think it's a wise investment because he can develop slowly with our team and become a high upside player eventually. As I mentioned, going down to 57, I was looking for safety earlier on. I wanted Dax Hill or maybe the Georgia safety as well, but basically falling down to 57, getting Pitre is a great addition for us. He'll play probably more in the box and play more of that robber role for us. He also will play in the slot, which will give us some flexibility because we do need another safety. I believe Washington played like in a base nickel about like 75% of our snaps last year. So having him as that extra safety, which is something we want, like we lost Landon Collins and basically we needed someone to replace him. I think Peter can kind of replace some of that there. So luckily, things are kind of falling my way. So I wanted a linebacker maybe at 47. Leo Chanel falls to 85, and then we have that little run stopper right there. We do have that a guy that brings the wood. It kind of surveys the field. So I feel like we are kind of replenishing our deficits, but also being wise with our picks. So getting Leo Chanel there at 85, getting a high upside tight end in Jelani Woods. We have Logan Thomas, who's like he was a really up and coming tight end. He had about 700 yards and about 8 or 9 touchdowns in 2020. He had a knee issue last year, so he didn't really show too much, but we still have him there. We have Jelani Wood, who's a high upside guy. We drafted John Bates last year too. So we do have some sort of tight end depth, which we have because we lost Ricky Seals-Jones, who went to the Giants this offseason. So I do like Woods coming in. So what I like with our team so far, with my draft so far, is that we're getting players that do have high upside, that do have college pedigrees, but don't necessarily have to contribute early because there are other people in front of them. So Zamir White, same thing. We have Antonio Gibson, who's my starting running back. We have J.D. McKissick as our third down back. But Zamir White, James Cooks gets all the, all the kudos, all the praise in Georgia, but Zamir White was also pretty stout in between the tackle running back. So I do like adding him there. The vision in DC is that we have more of a, kind of a grinder running back to add to McKissick, who's our third down back, and Antonio Gibson to kind of flex him out more in the passing game. So maybe we can have some more two running back sets there. To bring it on home, 189, 203. Washington needed guard depth. They needed CB depth, so I kind of threw some dart throws there. I think a standard rule is always look to the Big Ten for offensive linemen. It says they get those corn-fed boys out in the Midwest, so definitely look over there. So I wouldn't mind getting an Ohio State guy. And then finally bring it on home with Jack Cohn. He has been linked to Washington this offseason. We do need some quarterback arm depth during training camp, and it wouldn't be bad to have a long-term project to kind of develop a backup over the past couple of years, and that won't hurt Carson Wentz's feelings late in the draft. So it's perfectly right there.
Good luck with that. As an Eagles fan, good luck with that. Good luck not hurting his feelings. I like the draft.
Exactly.
What would you grade your draft? What would you grade your draft?
I like it, man. I don't want to be a homer. I'll say B plus. I think it's a pretty good draft, man. I like it. I think it's pretty solid. I think we walk away with, Drake London day one starter. I think Ajabo could be a nice rotational piece. That I do think Peacher will play as well. So I'm happy with it. Walking away with 3 or 4 starters in any given draft is a great draft. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and to turn it from 6 to like 10 picks and still get a lot of guys that you want, yeah, you can't really beat that. So I like it. So this is going to be the final one, James. This is it until the draft actually starts. So before we wrap this, let's bow this up real quick, since it is kind of the last one since till the draft, and then obviously that Sunday we'll kind of recap what happens. But both of you guys, what is it? Give me a positive and a negative. What are you looking for your team to do in the draft, and what are you looking for your team to absolutely stay away from doing in this draft? James, we'll start with you, and then we'll go down to George.
I want my team to be aggressive in this draft. They have 9 picks. They get these compensatory picks every single year. Stephen Jones, like I said, I just feel like, he's never really aggressive in free agency. He's going to wait till this third wave, so be aggressive in his draft. Obviously, I don't think he's going to do it in the first round as far as moving up. I think there could be a lot of people in Dallas land are saying you could trade down and gather up even more stuff, maybe trade down a few spots. If you notice, I've done it the last 3 times shows. I've done it, Joe. I've done trade down like 3 or 4 spots. So I feel like that's definitely an option and gather picks. But then once you see your guy, get aggressive and get rid of them picks. Don't sit there and hold on them and sit there and say, well, we got 4 5th rounders. Let's just hold on to those and get those and see what happens, because 5th rounders, it's hard for those guys to make the team. So wheel and deal, get aggressive in those first 3 rounds, figure out, maybe identify who you want and go after it and use those picks as ammunition. Don't just sit back and kind of let it, you know what I mean? I want some aggressiveness. I think what I don't want to see is I don't want to see them mess with any kind of quarterback in this draft until like the very end. You know what I mean? I don't want any kind of goofiness like that to start again. And because if they draft a quarterback any kind of higher than the 6th round, because they're already talking about that EJ Brown, then people are just going to start talking. And we don't need to hear the talk. Dak is healthy. He's rehabbed that shoulder. He had a little issue with his shoulder. He's fully ready. So let's just go in there, get aggressive, and let's not just sit back. You always are waiting for something to happen. And since the lifeline of the Cowboys is this draft, I want to see a lot of aggressiveness in this first few rounds.
Yeah, and I'm with you. So over here in DC, we basically want to maximize our value. And if we do, I think ideally Washington would like to trade back. I think we want to accumulate picks going in with 6 selections. We only have 2 premium selections going into this draft, right? A 1st and a 2nd round pick. Then we miss a 3rd round pick. Then we go back to the 4th. So it's, we only should be walking away with maybe 2 starters from this draft, So we actually want to kind of increase our draft selections there. If we do stay at 11, I want it to be a premium selection. I don't want to go offensive guard. I don't want to go offensive tackle. I know, people kind of like building blocks in regard to that. I want to go big, right? I want to go wide receiver. I want to go cornerback. I want to go Kyle Hamilton. I don't even want to have, I want to have those big building block players that that will impact our team, but also like in terms of asset allocation is a smart investment as well. Like having a wide receiver on a 5-year contract after watching all these deals is a very smart thing to do. I do think the cornerback industry is going to blow up in a couple of years too. That's a very premium position as well. So, staying there would be, if we stayed at 11, we're looking at, one of the best wide receivers in the draft, Kyle Hamilton. Do not go at a, non-premium position. Ideally, trade back, and that's kind of my goal there. Go big, Ron. Don't play conservative. We're building our team, but let's get some skill position players to, let's compete. I want to be able to have some shootouts. I'm sick of these 17, 14 games we've been doing for 5-6 years now. Come on now.
Yeah, I feel you. I definitely feel you. It's going to be interesting for the Eagles, man. I want us to be smart. I want us to be the team. Far too many times you see the Philadelphia Eagles, like I did in the beginning, and kind of joked around and you scrolled all the way to the bottom and said, well, I like this guy. I don't want us to be that team. Go get the guy that's there on the board. Don't try to be smarter than anybody. Just take what's in front of you and move on with it. We have holes everywhere. So just do that. Just if you want to trade up and get somebody that you love, I'm cool with that. And this even kind of goes into the quarterback conversation. I'm not against us getting a quarterback early in this draft. If you love a quarterback, then go and do your thing, but don't kitty foot around it, right? Don't like say, well, we're not going to take one in the first, but we'll take one in the third, so people don't think, but we're really looking at that. Don't do that. Just go get your guy. If you want to get a quarterback, go do it. Make decisions and just stand by them. Don't kitty foot around stuff, because that's how you get into this drama. Let people know where you stand with your team. I think we can turn the tide in the NFC East overall with this draft. I think there's a lot of good picks and a lot of good talent potentially coming into the NFC East. Look, we got the draft in 4 days. Then we have a little bit of a layoff, right? A little bit of layoff. Then you get into camps. You get into the rookie camps. Everything's going to start coming together very, very soon. This offseason, for me at least, has went so fast already. And we're so close to real football, a couple months away. So I'm excited. Me and James are going to keep doing this throughout the offseason, throughout the season. So we'll probably maybe another week or two talking about the draft picks and, kind of what happened, probably getting some thoughts from other teams. But then we're on to real football. Then we're really talking about putting these pads on these kids, seeing what the heck really happened. So I know I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. And I know anybody that's an actual football fan starting to get a little bit antsy. So, George, I appreciate you coming on here so much, man. This was a lot of fun. James, you got anything you want to say before we close this on out?
Oh, I just got a quick question for George. You got a player on your team that was drafted last year. He was actually on one of me and my friend's high school show. We had a high school show when I came out of media school. We started in 2016. And we had a player. His name is Derek Forrest Jr.
Yeah.
He came out of Walnut Ridge High School, actually literally 10 minutes away from me. I had a couple of my kids used to play for them. And then he went to University of Cincinnati, and y'all drafted him in the 5th round. What's your thoughts on him? And, does he have a chance to even make any waves? Or what's your kind of thoughts on him? Do you think the Commanders will use him?
I do. I think he has a lot of upside. It's been a couple of years since he's been drafted, but it might have been last year, 2 years ago. But he does have that physical upside. He's a tall guy. He's very fast. Has a great physical ability, and he does have an open window to get more playing time. We are at a deficit at safety, so he has come up in conversations. We're like, hey, you know what? Should we draft a safety early? But we have Derek Forrest in the pipeline. So people do talk about him there. He's more of a special teams contributor here, but I would gladly have him. Hopefully he is on the high upside there, and the door is not closed for him. So if he has a good training camp, and if Washington doesn't draft a safety early, he might get some playing time this year. It's significant playing time, so it's there for him. So he has to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. See one of the local kids, you know what I'm saying?
It'll be awesome.
Come around here, especially because, like I said, we got, Taco Charlton with Dallas Cowboys drafting him. That school out here is literally 5 minutes away, and I had two of my kids that actually went and played at that school, and it's kind of like a hotbed now.
That's awesome.
They have players that are going to Ohio State, the big schools and things of that nature. So they're putting out a pipeline, and they got a possible another guys that are could come out in the draft as well from that school. So it's good to always see local high school kids. Just kind of ending on this. I'm doing more of a high school thing as well, Joe. When I was coming out of media school, that was my goal. And then, the Cowboys thing kind of, morphed into its own. But I have a lot of connections out here with a lot of high school kids, and I coach, youth football for about 15 years and basketball. So what I've been doing, Joe, is I've been getting a lot of inboxes because I got a lot of high school kids following me, athletes. So what I was going to do was start putting them on interviews and start, really opening doors for them with my own channel, kind of get their background, show their highlights, things of that nature, and kind of see where they're going, and then watch their careers from high school kind of go to college. I got about 5 kids already, and they're pretty nice kids. I got one kid in particular. He's a freshman. He was first team All-State. He's 5'8", 160 pounds, but he's nice, dog. I seen his highlights, dog. He nice. So I'm like, and he's geeked to come on the show. So I'm like, bro, I'm geeked to have you. You only a freshman, bro. But you first team All-State. And when I seen your highlights, I'm like, bro, we could be talking about you. And I look at your size, like in a senior, you could be 6'1", 6'2". You could be a dog. So I'm really excited to get these guys young and then see them to go to college. And if they go pro, bro, that'll be really nice. So I'm really trying to open that door. So I'm excited about that. So that's kind of my ending with that, trying to open the door for these kids, man.
That's awesome. It's funny that you bring that up because I've been talking to my guy. I live in Florida, and I think it's IMG Academy. That's not too far from me, like that huge high school. And I was telling her, she was like, I'm not trying to go to no kids game. I'm like, nah, you don't understand. These kids these ain't kids, baby. These ain't kids. These are grown men out there playing for high school teams.
You got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I was thinking about going out there. I'm sorry.
Take advantage of it. We're actually we're going to go on and on about this, but like we're lucky. So Our Lady of Good Counsel. Like I live in Rockville, Maryland. Like in Olney, Maryland is Our Lady of Good Counsel. That's where Stephon Diggs went to play, and it's like I drive by it all the time. And so like, Trayvon Diggs is around here. Chase Young went to DeMatha, which is a private high school in DC.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun when they're from your area to kind of represent and kind of watch that too. So it's pretty cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. We growing up, all these guys growing up around us. Shout out to Travis Jones, even though you won't respond to me. He's from Connecticut. He's from Connecticut. Me and you have the same area code, dog. You got to show some love. I hope that he's a great kid. I hope that he does well in the NFL. But we are going to get out of here, man. We usually go like an hour, but whenever we get good guests on, this is always what happens. We end up going forever and ever.
That's good.
George, tell them where they can find you and where they can find your material, because you're definitely killing it over there. You and the whole Full Press, man. I really love what y'all doing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So I work for a company called Full Press NFL. It's a bunch of guys that cover all NFL teams across the league. I'm FPC Commanders, Full Press Coverage Commander. So you can find me at FPC_Commanders. I'm really active on my own personal Twitter line at GCarmy21. Hit me up there. I have my own podcast that I host. Maybe you guys can come on with me pretty soon in a week or two. That'd be awesome. I also write articles for Full Press Coverage as well. So I'll probably be writing about, Washington's draft, how they stack up with the NFC. So I love to talk to you guys in the future, and hit me up anytime. I love football altogether, and hopefully you guys can see I love this. I'm not a boastful Washington fan. I can keep it real with you guys. It's all good.
Well, see, I got blessed. I messed with Joe because Joe's a normal Philly person, because most Philly people I talk to, I can't have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
So I already had intelligence with him, and so that kind of vibed. And like I said, I had Ruben on there. So, bro, like the whole cast that you've got on here, Joe, has been amazing from my perspective, because I like talking good football. And just like George was saying, I'm not the weird Cowboy fan saying Super Bowl every single year and not living in reality. And I think once we all, as fans and content creators, look at reality and talk from a reality sense and talk from how the team would do it, I think that's when we have more good conversations.
That's how you learn, man. For real.
Personal feelings don't get into it, because we're thinking how they would be thinking, not how we'd be thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Bringing value. That's all Philly has always been about. I just want to, if I know something, I want y'all to know, and vice versa. If y'all know something, I want to be able to know it. So that's the beautiful thing about this. George has become like family, basically like you, James. Me and George go back and forth. He is my Washington guy. Like, that's the only dude I go to.
Eagles dude.
I got my Washington guy now. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I need a Cowboys guy, so it's perfect. I'm down. Let's do it. Let's go.
I love it. That's why we do this, man. But either way, we are going to get out of here. We got lives to live. I'm sure it's Sunday. Enjoy the last bit of this weekend. But I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Obviously, go check out everybody's Instagram, Twitter, all that, the channels. Subscribe to them. Other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It's Fly Goes Fly. And we are out here. Peace!
We're brothers. We're happy and we're